We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Here they come, I get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
Man, I have been you know what's funny? I've had a weird time. I thought that today I knew for sure I was gonna spend a good portion of today as a studio day and ended up doing damn near everything except get in the studio today though, man. I was so disappointed too though, bro. Um Finished up, start finally doing some additional like decoration on my man cave, right? So me and the missus finished up our accent wall there, and then started putting some pictures on the tidying up the man cave. So I was in my basement, like literally steps away from getting in the lab, turned everything on, getting ready in preparation for it, and never actually did get in though. But I said, oh my gosh, though, man.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I just got mine back. Mine's been in the shop getting some updates to it, so I literally just got it back yesterday and got it turned on uh today. Right before the pod. I know a lot of people was wondering like why his lights ain't on last week, so that was the reason why. So it was in the shop.
Mm, nice. Let's get the music on. We got some things to talk about.
All right, let's get it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok pages. We're live on all platforms at the same time. Whenever you click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing their thing. Ace Kennedy. All right. Had something catch my attention there. I got a general question for you. This is a sneakerhead question for you that just it reminded me of something that I've been meaning to ask you on the pod.
Mhm.
Okay. We've talked about like here recently, like where everybody, all the shoe companies, right, are having this renaissance of shoes. Like, you know me well enough to know that I've been on New Balance for years. I think I was rocking New Balance in high school in Killeen when it wasn't like a very fashionable thing to do, right? Always have been just big on New Balance style wise, right? Just it just caught my eye, for example. But then here recently, though, man, they've had new additions, the 96s, 9060s, probably one of my favorite silhouettes that I absolutely love. And the 2002s, and they've had all these newer, like polished off in this era of shoes where it's like the dad shoe, the comfortable shoe, right? And then, I remember like Asics, for example, like Asics have just wildly popular these days. It's like, when you walk when I went through when I did Landon's orientation day, you see everybody wearing Asics, right? It's like a very in thing, right? Very trendy. But I'm just blown away because I don't see any Nikes out there that I just was like, yo, this is a new Nike, right? Not a retro. Like, when was the last time you saw a Nike shoe where the silhouette to you thought this is about as dope as a retro silhouette?
Um, I haven't, but I mean, I know they're coming with new designs. But if I'm Nike, I understand why, right? Because these other companies are having to innovate because they're trying to catch up. Whereas Nike has, they have Air Force Ones, they have Jordan, like they got all these shoes that like Dunks that all you got to do is put out a new colorway, like, and you still gonna make just as much money. So then,
Are you though? Are they? That's what I'm wondering. Like, so this is my thing. I don't get me wrong. As sure as you say that, I look at it like this. It feels like Nike is catering to the old heads, to the people where it was cool. You might be like, oh, I had these in high school. Let me go ahead and let me get them now to relive that moment. And where so it seems like the New Balances, the Asics now, like they are targeting this particular new generation and putting them on. And it feels like Nike isn't necessarily doing that though.
yeah, and I mean, I like I said, I don't necessarily think that they have to. Um, I mean, at the for business wise, oh, excuse me, you want to compete, but at the same time, it's just like though, but are we still making money though? Like, what's the profit margin? Like, what are because you have to pay these people that are developing these shoes. But if all you got to do is slap a new colorway, and you still gonna make money from a business model, that's kind of fire.
That okay. That makes sense to me for some businesses. I just thought that Nike used to be like the leader of the innovation part of it. I think that this is the thing. I think that one of the things that I think that's given way to Nike's fall off on innovation on shoes, right, is basketball, right? Like now, it is very much like the niche thing when you got a signature basketball shoe, right? But even then, it's like maybe when we were in high school, you had players like the Tim Duncans, you had the Pippins, you had the Charles Barkley, you had all these other players that had top tier signature shoes. And maybe Nike is emphasizing the basketball aspect of it because you see the Ja Morants, which by the way, I saw somebody who hooped in the Ja Morants, the new ones, and they look fire though, bro. And you see all the players like a Devin Booker who got signature shoes, and now you see Asia Wilson who has the signature shoes. But what I don't see is like the NFL players. Like Dave, I think that Odell Beckham was the last football player that I knew that had a Nike signature shoe, right? And even that was very short lived. Maybe like the homeboy Victor Cruz also had one, but I don't really see like a shoe that Nikes came out with that I think looks as good. It don't even got to be like the Zamaros, right? Or the Vimeros. I'm sorry. That's I guess that I don't or quite recall. That's based off of the shape of older sneakers, though, bro. But I'm just really like blown away that in this comfort age, though, man, that Nike isn't like tapped in and killing everybody, though, man.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Adidas, right? They are really pushing the innovation stuff. I think Nike kind of fell back once the Boost technology came out, and then
Mm.
you got other creators like Pharrell and of course Yeezy at the time when they were developing stuff like that was the innovative thing at the moment. So even in basketball, because you look at James Harden shoe, that thing it stays like very innovative. You know what I'm saying? And then of course Dame's got his shoe, and others that are with Adidas, and then you got like even like the Thunder. Two people from the Thunder wear a version of the Harden shoe as their signature shoe. So it's like, yeah, it I don't know, but let me ask you this though: do you think Saucony is gonna make a comeback?
Is it Saucony or is it Saucony? I've always called them Sauconys.
I always call them Saucony, bro.
Well, listen, I think that I don't, but there's not that they'll make a comeback, but I think that they can become popular again because I see them in the stores now, right? Like I saw some, and it's always gonna be the colorway, right? the silhouette of the shoe might be one thing. You might have a dope silhouette, but if you don't have the right colorway for it, then it's neither here nor there. And I think all they need, like I saw some ones that I thought were dope silhouettes. I just
Mhm.
haven't seen the one yet that made me think, wow, that's a dope color. Let me go ahead and grab it. But I think they can in this era where runners are top tier. I think that I was with you and I said, bro, I saw some damn Hokas and I think looked fire though, bro, as a runner. And they didn't look like the normal big bottom Hokas that, but maybe they were that they looked like it was, and it was just that colorway that I thought looked real dope though, man. So I think they can. I think Brooks, the running shoe,
Mhm.
if Brooks really wanted to tap into like style, right? I think that they could. Now it seems like their shoes are mainly about function, and so does Hoka. But if Hoka was able to keep their same technology with that little cushiony bottom, but then they basically said, "Oh, we're gonna flip it and we gonna go ahead and get some style, not necessarily trendy." I think that they could do it though, man, because I just think that the comfort shoe lane is wide open though, bro. Wide open. And now that it's a fashionable thing, it's just the time now. And it's just like Nike is just letting everybody eat though, bro.
Yeah. I feel like it's a circle, bro. I think at a point that Nike's gonna come back with some new stuff. They just got to get some new designers, and I think it'll just come full circle with this is just the time for New Balance to shine, or because at a point Puma was on point. You know what I'm saying? That
Puma was on point.
but they after Melo's shoe, they I haven't seen anything really popping for them.
I remember they had their running collection. They had the RCS. They actually had a good run of runners, and that's another one. I'm just thinking, like, bro, like I personally like the way Puma shoes fit my feet, though, right? But I'm just like, if you don't, I'm right there with you. If you don't like the Lamelo balls, then it's just like, well, what else alternative? I haven't seen a good. I haven't seen a good pair of new Pumas that I like enough to buy since the last ones I got, right? And I still wear them. And I'm just like, I don't see, I haven't seen, I don't think I've been in the Foot Locker and seen some Pumas on a shelf like that, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that because I normally see Pumas at the Puma outlet.
Now, I think that with one of the things that might be impacting Nike, bro, is that I think that Nike, if you recall, sometime like a year ago or something like that, like they went out of their way to basically pull certain styles and shoes from Foot Locker, from Finish Line, and they went direct to consumer more. So they stocked up their website with more of the exclusive, shoes and everything, though, man. And I think maybe they did that with the colorways, right? Where now you got to go directly to Nike to get stuff. And you can bypass, Foot Locker. My only thing is, all right, that's cool, but where are the new designs though, bro?
Yeah,
That's my biggest thing though, man.
no, I get that.
Yeah. Bro, real quick, let me ask you a question, man. Shador Sanders
Mhm.
started for the Cleveland Browns. Everybody said on TV that they were setting their boy up to fail. He showed up, showed out, looked pretty good. What's your take, man?
I thought he looked great, but at the same time, if he's still number 4 on the death chart, then what does that say about Dylan Gabriel? What does that say about Pickett? What is that? Because we know that Flacco is going to be number 1, but if this is what's happening in practice, though, then that's where I'm like, I don't know. Again, I think he looked great, but you know, the Browns don't have a great track record with quarterbacks, so they gonna fumble it. The best thing they should do is trade him. Trade him for a third round pick at this point. You know what I'm saying, or a fourth because you got him in the fifth. So trade him for a fourth round pick to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the rest of the needs of your team and let him go. So that way you don't have to deal with the circus aspect of it. Like, they gonna talk about you for 2 weeks for letting him go, and and they ain't gonna bring you back up again until he starts doing well somewhere else. But just he could be a number 2 on a number of other teams preparing to become that number 1. Uh So they're gonna have to figure something out. They got 6 quarterbacks right now.
Do they got 6?
They have 6.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I saw Richard Sherman explain this exactly the way that I see it, a best case happening in my head, right? So he kind of explained that, let's say you got Deshaun Watson out of there. You got Dylan Gabriel, and he's been hurt, so you haven't got an opportunity to see him to see him in the game at all. So I think that because you drafted him, I believe in the third round, that you want to at least see what he can do. So you keep him, right? And then let's say you keep Flacco on because while Flacco, he's 40, right? So I think Kenny Pickett would actually be the day one starter because I think that he is a veteran now. Let me just hear me out. Hear me out. Let's say if you say Flacco or Pickett, one of the two starts or whatever, right? One of those guys will be the number two. One of them will be the number one. I think Dylan Gabriel would go ahead and be the number three. And then he says, well, if Deshaun Watson is basically inactive for the season, then he's like washed. So then it's just like the way that you resolve it if you're the Cleveland Browns is that for what you're saying. You can say, hey, you don't have to, you can avoid the circus. Let's go ahead and get him on out of here. You then go ahead and say, hey, all you teams, specifically the New Orleans Saints, that have drafted quarterbacks, and you've seen enough of your guy to know, nah, he ain't quite that. This could be your mulligan to pick up Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders goes to your team, excels like we see that he could, and you go ahead and you run with it, right? If you're the Cleveland Browns, you still are looked at as like you're doing what Cleveland Browns have traditionally did. Fumble when it comes to quarterback, you back into your normal Cleveland Brown thing, but it takes that kind of spotlight and headlight off you, except for on the times that he does well. But it's no different. You go on, you continue to do Cleveland Brown stuff. But I would love to see the Saints make a play for it. I just wonder if you colluded to not draft him, then what teams will basically buck that collusion to actually go ahead and draft him or to trade for him?
But that's the thing though. You didn't draft him based upon what you thought you needed for your team, but you can't account for like the Rams where what's his name got the bulging disc and he's still gonna try to play, right? But he's still closer out of the door, and then you got Garoppolo following him, right? So Garoppolo is not going to be their long-term answer to everything. So that would be a team that would the Rams would be a team that want to pick him up. Like you said, New Orleans. I know they're not just thrilled with what they've seen. So that would be a great spot.
He can go to New Orleans and start right now.
100%. Yeah. But that's the thing. Even if it's not to start, to be the number 2 I'm still okay with that because he can still develop. I mean, he looks good enough to play. I'm not saying that he's not ready to go. But at the same time, even if it's one of those, whoever the starter is at whichever team doesn't do well and then he comes in and takes over. So it's still preparation for him to be the next guy. That's why I think there's a bunch of teams that could use him as a number 2.
Nice. I'm with you.
What about Bryce Young? How did you think he looked?
So I think that okay. So they all harp on to Bryce Young having ended the last couple of games of last season looking pretty solid. I think that it was because they played sorry teams, but I think you got to stick with them you got to stick with Bryce Young at least for the full year and next year before you should say, he could be. I think that whatever he's going to be, whatever steps you think that you thought this would be the year to see it, though.
Did you get the chance to watch Ewers?
I did not get to see Ewers at all, though, bro. How did he look?
He looked okay. He had one of those, like when he was at Texas where he couldn't quite throw it over people, so they were blocking it. He had some of that stuff, and then he had 2 fumbles. But ultimately, he looked pretty comfortable. I think if he had more reps, that he'll be fine. I think he would find his way. I don't think it sucks because Sam ain't really got he didn't really get anywhere in the NFL. Colt McCoy didn't really get anywhere in the NFL. Vince Young didn't get anywhere in the NFL. So I'm just ready to see one of these Texas quarterbacks, translate what they did at Texas in the NFL.
Yeah. You know what, man? It could very well be that, like our quarterbacks and yeah, Vince Young didn't. Vince Young had a little run, better run, but man, I thought Colt McCoy was gonna be that one though, man.
Yeah.
He's probably one of my, like I said, it's for me, it's probably Vince Young number one, Colt McCoy number two, Ewers probably number three for me. My favorite Texas quarterback.
You got him over Sam, bro?
Yeah, I like him over Sam though. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that.
Just style wise, I like him better than Sam though. Just a
Yeah.
smidgen more though.
Sam was a baller though.
Sam was a baller though. Sam was a baller.
He
I like
had
him though.
tremendous heart, bro.
But Arch got a chance to go over him though on my number three, and that's a very, like I said, we're talking about only 5. Arch got an opportunity to move on up there though, bro.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but I think the only thing unfortunately about Arch is that technically, if you want to be technical, he has 2 years left. But I think that if he balls out this year, I don't see him coming back out there for a third.
Nah.
So he would have to.
His people already said he's playing 2 years, bro.
Yeah, well, if he plays it too well, technically last year was 1. You know what I'm saying? And this year would be year 2. I'm saying, is he going to start for 2 years? That would be different.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. His people said he is staying at Texas for 2 years.
Yeah, if he stays at Texas for 2 years, though, bro, which, I mean, Peyton Manning did that as well. I believe Eli Manning also did it too. So they got some precedent there, though, man. But provided that he stays, though, yeah, he could go straight to my number one. But no, he ain't gonna bypass Vince Young, though, bro. He ain't gonna top Vince.
You said that about Jordan too, and look at you now. You're a LeBron guy.
Yeah, but it's a little different because it's like in college, you got a small window, right? In this list, you think about it. And when I'm talking about my GOAT list for NBA, you got your entire career in the NBA. I'm just talking about my favorite quarterback, my favorite Longhorn quarterbacks. You only got
so I'm about to ask you a
4
question.
years.
All right, so I'm about to ask you a question. So that boy, Manning delivers 2 national championships back to back.
He goes number one. I'm
talking about.
Yeah,
That's what
you have to do something extreme. But you think about that though. But it would have to be extreme enough to top the fact that Vince Young won the national championship in the best football game I've ever seen in my life.
I understand that, but all I'm saying was at a time you said that LeBron would never top Jordan, and he has to you now.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is he has the opportunity to bounce Vince Young.
That's true.
Because he can bring 2 national championships back to back.
If he runs back to back national championships, he clearly goes number one on my list, though, man.
Boy, immediately.
Immediately. And listen, I got my Vince Young jersey in the burnt orange. I'm already thinking when I do my man cave in that area, I'm gonna have the Vince Young jersey retired. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go ahead and get the Arch Manning jersey already, though. I want to get the Colt McCoy. But I want to go ahead. I think I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. I'm gonna have my goal. I'm thinking about either doing all Texas jerseys or just jerseys in general because I wouldn't mind having like my Saints jersey. So I want to get my boy Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara. But if I had to only pick one more jersey, yeah, I got to see if that's gonna be. If Arch does it, it goes right up the list though. But I got to get my Colt McCoy Texas jersey though.
Yeah. Anybody else you've been impressed with in preseason?
Nah, man. I don't really put a lot of stock in preseason. Although I do. After I saw Dion post about the Buffalo, the Colorado players. I did go back and I watched some of the highlights of some of the guys that were Buffalo players that got drafted that played in the preseason, and a lot of them did show immediate results. Like they kind of looked like okay, they were ready for it though, man. The moments weren't too big, and almost all of the Colorado players seem to have had an impact in that first game out though. So yeah, that's the one thing that stood out to me though.
Yeah. Yo, you've been keeping up with this Cam and Omar Gooden beef?
So I thought you were gonna say Cam Newton because he's been recently having this beef about Jalen Hurts, right?
I thought it was
But
a beef with Gully, with Gilly.
he's been beefing with Gilly about some comments that he made about Jalen Hurts, though, right? And but when it comes, so that's the one I thought you were talking about Cam. But I don't know what the origins of the Cam and oh
Okay.
my goodness. What I do know is that I listened to Omar Gooden's response and he did a record. And I was very thoroughly impressed with it, bro.
Well,
Very thoroughly impressed, though, man.
okay. So the origins, I guess, Cam was talking about B-list actors and how much they get paid and saying that he feels bad for him. And he called him Omar Gooden Jr. because his brother's name is Cuba Gooden Jr. And so he was like, look, man, I ain't no doggone junior. Like, you ain't gonna be calling me out my name, da 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 da. And Cam was like, bro, like, all right, relax. And so then he did 3 diss tracks on Cam. He did 3.
Ah,
So Cam was like, listen, I want to put you in this movie. I'll pay you $7,500 for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something like that. And he was like, man, no, I get way more money than that. Like, no, I ain't, no, we'll pass. So Cam said,
after he did the diss record, still he wanted
yeah,
to put him in the movie.
yeah. So then he said, all right. He said, I got a new thing that I'm on. Is take care of your ops day or something to that effect, right? And he said, so I called somebody that I knew that knew him. He said, I know that sounds weird. He said, but listen, I knew somebody that knew him. He said, so I hired him. He said, I told him I'd give him 3,000 for 1 day of shooting. And so they signed off on it. Boom, boom, boom. He said, so I had him come and shoot this scene for $3,000. He said, now mind you, I blow more money on courtside tickets. So he said, I gave the he said I gave the money. I paid for the hotel, I paid for the flight and all of that. And that was all I had to pay for. But I did it for fun. He said the movie ain't even coming out. He said I did it just on some cheapies. He said the movie ain't even coming out, but I got the footage of him doing the scene. He said, and he didn't sign off on it. He said, so he said, I did it just because I could, because I was bored. He said, so I got the footage. He said, so you gonna see the footage. That's cold-blooded, bro. That is ridiculous. I mean, granted, he got paid, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know. I didn't know the origins of it at all. I just know that let's talk about the rapping part of it.
Yeah.
Was very impressed though, man. Just because I never look at him never knew that he was musically inclined in any way, right? But I just thought that it makes sense. If I'm not mistaken, I think that Cuba Gooding Jr. or Cuba Gooding Sr. was like a trumpet player or something like that. I think he was a musician
Mhm.
by trade. So I guess it kind of, if that was indeed true, it kind of makes sense that he would be, musically inclined though, bro. But I heard the song and I was like, yo, real West Coast joint though, man. I said, yo, this is pretty fire though, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't know I didn't know he did 3 of them,
Yeah,
but
that's what Cam
hey,
did. I
yeah,
have
yeah,
heard
yeah.
I heard a piece of one, but I wasn't like deep diving into it. I just heard
No,
Cam kind of speak on it.
nah, he can rap, bro. Nah, he can rap. He ain't no. I'm not saying he gonna go out there and win a Grammy or whatever, but he clearly can rap. Like it's like he ain't like just some celebrity who just said, "Oh, I'm about to you a rapper this me. I'm about to just jump on him." Nah, he seemed like he raps though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as far as I know, he could have had projects that maybe just nobody's ever heard that I've never heard. But I can tell that clearly he raps though, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um
I meant to ask you, bro.
mhm.
I meant to ask you about UFC and WWE has been, making a lot of moves though, man. Here lately on the behind the scenes stuff. This is up your alley, right? The behind the scene moves. But I saw that recently UFC basically had did a deal with Paramount so that it would eliminate their pay-per-view model. That's always been, I thought, UFC's bread and butter. Now, I'm assuming that if Paramount's giving you enough money, that would cover clearly whatever you would be making in your revenues from the pay-per-views. But I've always thought that that's how Dana White and UFC were able to thrive and do their thing because they had the pay-per-views. Well, now this eliminates that. I think that you gain more fans because now more people have access to your live events, though, bro. But am I tripping? Am I missing something on that?
No, you're not missing anything, man. It was a very strategic move. It's been in the works for a minute, and like you said, and I've already saw the effect of it because Paramount literally just sent me a message like, "Hey, our price about to go up." So, but like you said, if you already have Paramount Plus, boom, now you get the UFC, right? And then if you are UFC fans and you want to not have to pay for pay-per-view and you get all of the UFC content, like everything that they do, then you join Paramount and you get Yellowstone and you get Tulsa King and you get Mayor of Kingstown. Like you get all these great shows for just a low price, a monthly fee versus paying the ticket for the pay-per-view.
Listen, if you already are on this company that the UFC and WWE put
TKO.
together,
Mhm.
and you already have a deal with Netflix, why not just do another deal through Netflix? Do you just not want to have all your eggs in one basket? Or you want to diversify, or is it
Even though
that
I think ultimately, bro, it just who's offering the best deal. It's money. That's it's simple, plain and simple. It's money. I'm sure Netflix was probably in the works. I'm sure Amazon was probably in the works because streaming services are trying to grab a hold of another something. Like if you weren't in the ticket to get the NFL, if you weren't in the ticket to get basketball, you got to find something that's super popular. WWE, even though AEW is doing well, they aren't WWE. So you boom, ESPN gets WWE, Netflix gets WWE. And the same thing with I mean, they both did that model to where they're going away from the pay-per-view aspect of, hey, if you have the streaming service, then you get it with that streaming service, something that people typically already have, or most people are going to watch it. So then you get new eyes, you get new fans, and that can generate more money for merchandise and stuff like that, because it ain't just about seeing the product, but it's also about purchasing the product too. So if you, like you said, more eyes is going to it is changing the landscape of things, because I'm sure AEW will follow suit to where, hey, if you got Max, then boom, you can just watch the pay-per-views on Max because that's a part of the TNT family or whatever.
Yeah, because I thought that Max picks up AEW.
They do.
But I don't know I don't know if they just distinguish not the pay-per-views
Not the
though. So
pay-per-views.
that's a good
Pay-per-views
point.
were still going through Bleacher. I don't know what the latest. I thought they kind of broke contract. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's on Max though. So
Okay, no, that was interesting though, man. Because I just thought that they're making some moves over there with this new little joint
yeah,
venture with the folks over at UFC and WWE though, man.
yeah. Because WWE is moving their stuff over to ESPN, and I think ESPN is supposed to have a new. I don't know if they're doing a new app or what, or updating it or something, but they're getting ready to do something. Because then they also get ESPN. Also, then they get the NFL Network.
Network, NFL Network, specifically the NFL Red Zone, though, man. That's
Yeah,
kind of interesting. That I think it is kind of interesting because if the NFL Network was owned by the NFL and you sell that to ESPN, right? I guess to me, it's like I always think about when you do something like that in the corporate world, there's always the overlap, right? So you got overlap in variety. So you got overlap in times of key shows. You got overlap in personnel. A lot of people that are going to do the same thing, though, right? I always wonder from an entertainment perspective, though, right, of the talent. How do you determine, like, all right, you know what? We're gonna keep the NFL network on the NFL network channel, right? Like what stays the same is what I would want to know, and what's gonna differ.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these deals haven't been fleshed out yet because people don't know. Because like another thing that's happening behind the scenes is Hulu is dissolving and is going to be in Disney Plus. So a lot of people are wondering, well, if I'm already paying for Disney Plus, do I get Hulu or do I have to pay an additional fee? Like because there were already Disney Plus Hulu bundles, and anybody who has the Hulu bundle, do they then pay less money? Like that's all of these deals that they have announced, they have not quite fleshed them out on what the details on them yet. So
Because then
that's
you could have the Hulu that has some Disney, right? And if you got that, do you get the ESPN piece of it too as well? So
right. But that's the thing. The Hulu app is leaving the United States. I think they'll still have it overseas for a little while, but as a whole, because Disney owns Hulu, so they're just going to get rid of the app altogether and just merge it, which
interesting.
theoretically should bring more people to Disney Plus. Because that's been the problem. It's like Disney Plus is popping when something's out, but after that, everybody want to retain it because it's like, well, I watched the new Star Wars series, so now ain't nothing coming on to next year, so I'm gonna cancel my subscription until it comes back. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got
No,
kids and
no,
they're
yeah, no ongoing original shows, original series at all like that. Yeah,
exactly. But if you bring Hulu, now you open this library up, and then the retention is there.
yeah, I get that. That makes sense though. No, totally.
Yeah. When the last time you been to the movies?
Man, listen. I was supposed to go to the movies to go see the Fantastic Four, and I
Uh-huh.
haven't. So technically, the last time I went to the movies was to go see.
Superman.
Did we go see Superman in the movies? I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was Superman. Yep. Before that, it was Sinners because I didn't go see Thunderbolts in the movie either.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you might as well
Superman.
wait now because Thunderbolts are probably on Disney Plus.
Thunderbolts is out now. Yeah, Thunderbolts is out now on TV. But and I saw it, but I didn't see it on TV. Yeah, I mean I didn't see it in the movies though. But no, but I haven't seen the Fantastic Four. And for some reason though, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't that big on Fantastic Four, the original. So the remake of it, I was kind of like,
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Me neither. I wasn't a fan of it either, but it is a key step for Doomsday though, for
is
the
it?
new Avengers. Yeah, it's. I mean, you said you saw Thunderbolts, so if you saw Thunderbolts, you see the post credit on what happened on Thunderbolts.
You gotta go back. Now you got me wanting to go see it just to see how it ties it into it though.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a step. I mean, we only get one more movie before we get Avengers Doomsday. We getting Spider-Man, and that's it. So after Spider-Man is Doomsday.
Okay.
Uh what's up with this whole Kaminga trade, bro? I'm so sick of seeing his name pop up on my doggone Bleacher Report. Like, are they gonna trade him? Are they gonna keep him? Like what?
Now listen, man. This is the thing. I think that what made it more complicated for them, right, was this rumor going into last season, right? I think they would have traded him right away in the
Mhm.
offseason. But there was this rumor that Kaminga that grew to 7 feet tall, right? Like he was like 6'9", and then they say he just sprouted up to 7 foot tall, right? And so I think that was what kind of made them like, whoa, wait, let's see what happens though, man. I think that this is the way I look at it. I think that the Kaminga saying, hey, I'm trying to make around this amount of money per year, right? And the Warriors are probably thinking like looking at the players who make this is about $30 million a year range. And I think that that's like Josh Giddey is
Mhm.
trying to make about $30 million a year, right? And if you're Giddey and you're looking at that, you think like, all right, well, I'm young enough. You know what I'm saying? This is like my second. I'm coming off my second contract. I can understand why they might look at other players in the range and think this is what I think is fair market for what I'm looking for, my age, the whole 9 yards, my stats. And I think that naturally, I think that the Warriors just don't want to pay him what other teams might be willing to pay him. And so, in order for them to do that, they're saying we got to get back something, even though we don't want to pay you $30 million a year. We need to get back in exchange for that something that a $30 million a year player would warrant, right? And that's where I think that it's just it's like you're stuck in the rock and a hard place because they've offered him contracts, but I think they've been offering him something that was like 20 million a year or in the 20s. It's like it's been for some short contracts. And I think that he's thinking like you can make it short, but make it 30 a year, right? So if you're gonna do, 3 year, $90 million, it makes it look kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm him, I feel some kind of way that you sign Jimmy Butler to a short-term deal and you're paying Jimmy Butler at this age older more than what I'm looking to get paid. So I can see why he might be real tight about that.
Yeah. They asked Bradley Beal why he wanted to come over to the Clippers, and he just kept it a bean, bro, and said, "I'm trying to win a ring." Boy said he ring chasing.
It makes sense to me though, bro. But you talking about you got a team full of unks now, bro.
For real, certified unks.
A team full of unks, bro. You are the Los Angeles uncles.
Bro, what was that thing going around about? They were saying that a boy Harden had cut his beard off. There was all these pictures out there with him with no beard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I've seen a picture of him with no beard, he looks so weird because I don't really know what the shape of his face looks like without the beard. But
Yeah.
they always make him seem like his head is so small when they do the little removing of the beard. So it's like I don't know if his jawline, I don't know what his jawline looks like, but they always make it seem like his head is so narrow though, and this
So
is
you
crazy.
remember seeing it when he first came in the league, when he was first with the Thunder, his beard wasn't like that. He just had like what
It
we
was
got.
Yeah, but see, even then though, right? It's still some fluff, right? You don't see the full cheek
Nah,
line
nah,
on it back
it
then.
was thinner than ours. Like I'm talking about, it was the like just the it didn't have it had no hang to it yet. Like it was like the the starter kit beard. That's what he had, and
I, I,
he had like the low cut. And he still wore the bandana, the headband, but then the beard was just like the skin tight joint.
Damn, nah, it's been a minute. But I'm sure I have, but it doesn't resonate like the beard though, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like people, it looks like, you know what it is though, bro? So it looks like this. When people do him without the beard, it would be like if somebody did this, bro. If you look at my face, right, and my silhouette, and it looked like somebody just cut this all off my face, and all you see in my face shape is just where the beard's gone. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's wild, bro. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you this. I'm gonna send you this. I can't believe that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think, bro. What other team? Oh, that's what I was gonna tell you, bro. The doggone they had a game recently, Slavia, where Luca plays, and I got to see him
Okay.
play. He still looked about the same.
He ain't cut up, or is he just is he
I
back
mean,
fluff?
no. He's cut up, but I'm saying his game didn't look like all that different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't look like I saw him passing. He had some dope passes, but I'm saying, and he was still just shooting from a longer way or whatever the case may be. But like I ain't see, like we was talking about wondering if he was gonna have a new bag. I didn't see no new bag out here.
Okay. Oh yeah. I've seen that. I have seen that. But that's the thing about it. I'm looking at this picture, but nobody actually shows that that's what he looks like. When people makes it seem like it's like the high school face, but
Yeah,
now it's almost like when people do that, it's like it's weird, bro. I think it's weird how they depict him though, man. But he don't look weird though.
yeah, because even in this picture right here,
Yeah, he looks like he doesn't look weird.
yeah. I mean, he looks weird because he got all that hair now. But yeah.
Yeah. What you got going on for the week though, man?
Man, this week, like I said, I just got the computer back, so I got a bunch of programs I gotta upload, man. This is also the first week of the school year. I think they start tomorrow, actually. Deuce is teaching, Tari is teaching, and then Layla and Carly senior year, and then Charlie the 4th grade. So all of them are getting ready to go back tomorrow. So it's gonna be just getting back into that new routine of school for us. I know y'all already done started, but yeah, it's back to the grind for us over here.
Yeah, we week 2 with it out here though, man. And I think that for the most part here, Landon is running through without a hitch. Now that we finally got this bus situation squared away, they were out here, man. The bus then left past the bus stop, didn't come back. Then Landon comes out there a little early. I mean, comes out there a little late. The bus comes out there. He actually was on time, but the bus came early. So we finally got past a lot of the hiccups. So man, so yeah. It took a little adjustment, but we on week 2 and it's straight though.
Yeah. What about you? What you got going on?
Man, I'm hoping that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hoping I'm back in the lab. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot more writing though, man. And so like I said, I'm always 5 songs though, bro. 5 more songs. So I'm trying to go ahead and knock out these 5 songs. The big thing is that and I think the one thing that's real cool is that it looks like a lot of the artists that I'm working with musically, they're gonna all be doing projects around the same time. So it's pretty cool that I got a couple of new plugins and I've been pretty excited to use. And I want to try to play around with them on my stuff and on theirs and see what's up though, man. So yeah. Lots of dope stuff though.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. Well, look, man, we are the Slash Brothers joining. Oh, before we jump off here, I gotta give a big shout out to the boy Boney, the Cockaroo. He had came
Bad
through.
guy.
Yeah, Bad Guy came through with his comedy show on Sunday. And Dick Dickerson was here as the headliner. They had another comedian from Dallas that came, and they came through, had a good little old time, man. I was front and center. You know, that boy Chris Top used to always be front and center when I was performing with Meant to Be, man. Even when we was first starting out and wasn't even that good, Chris was there hyping us up. So, now that boy done found his passion and everything, I wanted to return the favor, because I'm like, listen, if I pull up to Ohio, I don't care if it's 3 people there. One of them people better be Chris Top. So
Yeah.
So big
That's
shout
one
out.
thing, dude. I do want to try to go out to one of his Dayton shows, though, bro.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to do.
Yeah. But like I said, y'all, thank y'all for joining the Slash Brothers from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers. Join us every Tuesday at 6 Central Standard Time, and we will see y'all on the next time.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it,
of all time.
sucker?